दिल में ये अरमान ही एक ही है, कुछ कर जाऊं, कुछ कर जाऊं। दिन रात यही बात मुझ में बार बार याद दिलाती है, कुछ कर जाऊं, कुछ कर जाऊं। बच्चों, dear colleagues, principals of the other schools, the eminent members of the management, and of course, Ruchi, part of my heart. Already she's doing something. Appeal to you is kuch kar jao, kuch kar jao. All morning we have heard only one thing, and that is the world is in trouble. The world is in trouble, so how can we not be? These are the moments when you come to beautiful schools like the Lotus Valley that you feel there is a comfort level. The comfort level is when you hear the students speaking for the future of the world, and we hope we are in safe hands, not just now, of course, but for the future to be. So my dear, dear students, especially the ones I heard this morning, saw them sing and dance and so eloquently put together their thoughts, I felt a little unfortunate that why wasn't I a student of Lotus Valley School? If only Mr. Deep Singh, who's the chairman of this school, had thought about building it many, many, many years ago, then I would have certainly joined this school. And I would have had the principal there then, as Ruchi said. I don't think Ruchi is hearing me, but I'm sure she is, but avoiding the compliment embarrassingly. So while I was getting ready to speak here, I tried to think, what should I say? And I said to myself, I'll be a fool to speak because everybody here knows much more than I do. I have been into education since the year 1963. 1964 was my first engagement as a lecturer. None of you were born then, right? Am I right? And when I went to teach in a boys' college, they put on all the fans in the wintry season of Rajasthan. They felt that this woman will run away. But looking at so many girls today, I feel so great that they would not be alone when they go to teach. And that is what UN all about. That is what UN is all about. It was founded in 1945, and we today have 193 member states. And of course, as I mentioned, dignity is one of their mottos. These 17 objectives also include peace, equality, and on a healthy planet. Now, how do you have a healthy planet with unhealthy minds? Do you think you can have a healthy school with unhealthy students? And we are talking about the earth, we're talking about the planet, we're talking about the world. So the UN was set up, so there'll be no world wars again, and there will be peace and harmony. But unfortunately, in spite of the efforts of the United Nations, There is so much of war that's going on between countries and countries, the greed, the desire to own more, the desire to kill more, and the desire to be more. There is no question of sacrifice. There is no question of being humble. There is no question of being able to accept that some countries can be stronger than the others. I think the Israeli operations, Gaza, the war between Russia and Ukraine bring to light the face of humanity today. And I'm sure the UN Sustainable Goals, but why doesn't the UN take action? Everything is there. We are looking at poverty, we are looking at women, but are we stopping wars is the question. Does anyone have a solution here? And I'm sure the education that you're receiving in your schools under the headships of the principals present here and all over are being taught that war is bad and we should not do so. But where does the war begin? Where does the war begin? Can one of you tell me? War begins in the minds of the men. Why don't they say minds of the women? I don't know. And if war begins in the minds of the men, or the man who represents also, I suppose, the women, then I think it is the mind that we have to take care of in schools like this. It's that mind which should be peaceful, which should be kind, which should be caring. And I think if humanity has to evolve, it will evolve in schools like this. I'm sure, just like Ruchi said, all principals are making it possible, making it necessary that children of those schools are kind and peaceful. But what about training the parents? Because I think when we talk of big things, we also have to begin with the small ones. So we are all looking towards no poverty, zero hunger. Do you know that 733 million people were hungry in 2023? We need action on climate change. Yes, we need peace, peace and peace, and strong institutions where partnerships for the above goals are created from the very early days. Dear little ones, dear friends, whom I love you the most, please bring a transformative tomorrow. We need actions, not words. We need platforms like this where students can question and argue. And I think gone are the days when riches were so important. But unfortunately, they be so for those who want to dominate the world. We want certainly to mirror UN conferences like this. And I do hope Ruchi Seth will exchange what she's doing here today with all the other schools, whether it's through the media or through her social expression. I notice she has lots of friends, and if there were many more principals, they would have seen such a beautiful scenario where anyone would be inspired to repeat what they were seeing or even go beyond it. So dear young future diplomats sitting here, in these 2 days, you will be shaking hands with your enemies, the enemy countries, if you call them, You will be hugging each other and going back and doing exactly the same thing in your nation as you've already done. So what's the use of these conferences? What's the use of these meetings? What's the use of the money? What's the use of those hundreds of countries who are the members of the United Nations? Can they stop war? Can they stop poverty? Can they create greater kind of illumination in the minds of the people? Yes, you are making the beginnings, and I'm sure you will be the ones who will bring peace to this world. There can be no other way of going ahead without the young ones understanding the need for existence for the future. We do not want to destroy this beautiful world with one bomb. We want to live together, and we want to live happily. I would like to thank Ruchi again and again for bringing us together and giving us this beautiful program. But nothing would be possible in the 3 Lotus Valley schools if the management did wonders for them. They are the ones who feel that they can contribute silently by establishing these schools in a way that whoever comes here regrets not having been here. So once again, Ruchi, I thank you for inviting me. And of course, we have with us also somebody who left the IAS to do the work he wanted to do, and I'm sure your presence here and your enlightening the students will make a lot of difference. While I was there to attend the 54th session of the United Nations Commission of Human Rights in Geneva in 1998, I thought I'll go back to my nation and do a MUN, and which I did, which was the first one in this country. And I think, looking back, I realize now that Tamanna has the UN status, I'll invite you to meet those who really require one more committee of the UN, which will be on the disability sector. I've started my efforts, and I'm sure with all your backups, I'm going to present it to the United Nations shortly so that it is accepted. Come visit Tamanna. Come visit another world. It's a world away from your world, but it's a world to shake hands with. Thank you once again.